Hello, everybody. Today is a bonanza day in the skies. So I'm doing this video for everybody. In my Substack, I have started writing my dailies only for paid subscribers, and I will be going deeper into the Venus star work and the natural laws of the universe with my members. But I just wanted to do this because you all need the good news that this could be an amazing day if you lean into it. So before I dive in, my name's Louise Eddington. I am the Cosmic Owl. I am a wisdom weaver of Cosmic Owl Astrology. I weave astrology, tarot, intuition, a bit of woo, a bit of talking to the planets with shamanic journey work, and all the other interests that I study, creativity, all into what I do. And I want to say today that I am radiant, and you are too. So own it, because today is a magical day. And I want to just quickly talk about why. But before I do, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. Also, check out the links. I'm in a summit that's starting. I was interviewed for one of those free interview summits, and it starts on June the 10th. I was interviewed about the Venus star point. Suzanne Gerber interviewed me, so please join me on that. You know, it's free. Each course is free for 72 hours. There's some other great interviews on that as well, so dive into that. Also, come and join my nest because in the nest I am going to be teaching the Venus star point work over the next period. Today starts a 9.5-month circle of receptivity of Venus as the evening star, so taking things in, attracting things in, and it's a Gemini one, so that's all about learning. I'm certified in the Venus star point work, but I've also worked with Venus since before I got certified in that. She's my most elevated planet. I am very connected to Venus, and I have a lot of things to teach about it that you might hear a slightly different perspective as well to Ariel's, which, you know, I'm not saying I'm more right, but, you know, I put my own view on things as well. So join the nest. It's $35 a month or $385 for a year. You get a month free. You'll get that in addition to the regular bi-monthly calls where we can look at your chart. We have some teaching and some learning, answer questions, and various other things. Discounts, big discount off my next Venus retrograde class, which was celebrated. So come and join the nest too. Anyway, let's dive in. So first I want to just talk a little bit about Gemini. And as I was walking back, so this is my life now. I got up at 5, walked to my boxing class, punched the bag for an hour, and then walked home. And I was listening to one of my favorite bands who I'm going to see again, who I first saw and who I fell in love with back in the 80s when I was a bit of a goth. And Love and Rockets. And it occurred to me, I was like, Love and Rockets, this is today's energy. Venus is love, Venus is the heart, and Jupiter's involved too. And this is rocket fuel, this energy today. So we are really being invited on a hot trip to heaven today. And incidentally, while I was there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 14 stars on this. Now, this star point is at 14 degrees. And there's you in the middle with your heart, the star, you are the star, and you're going on this hot trip to heaven. But heaven is a place on earth, to quote another song. Now, how I got there was I started listening to the song Mirror People by Love and Rockets. Go and have a listen. It's an awesome song. And Mirror People, well, Gemini is mirrors. Gemini is reflection. Gemini is listening, bouncing ideas off each other. It's communication, connection. and it's also a mirror image. So I really want you to use this rocket fuel energy today to go and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm going to pick this up. But for those of you that are just listening on audio, I have a t-shirt. It says, I am effing radiant. Because we are moving into a quantum period where, you know, your astrology chart is you, and all the planets around it are parts of you that you bounce off, and the transits are parts that bounce the energies and help your cosmic blueprint evolve and grow into who you are. But the core of it is you at the middle, the one that's part of the big one. Okay. And this is about learning to deeply accept who you are and how you work, and just learning to be the best that you can be with what you have, and learning to love your shadow and the parts you may not have liked. So there's a big thing about this Venus star point about coming into wholeness within yourself, learning to do self-care, learning to love all the bits of you, learning to have this deep self-acceptance and deep self-individuation, and then work from that inside out place. It's a big change, honestly, to take this hot trip to heaven. So it also involves Jupiter. But let's have a look quickly at the astrology. I'm not going to go deeply into the astrology because I did do a whole downloadable thing that's still available for $23, but also it is free to members of the Nest. So now then, let me share the astrology quickly. I just want to show you how astounding this Venus star point is, though. Or this day, not just the Venus star point. Well, it's just happening before a Gemini new moon. So the moon is about to move into Gemini, and we have a Gemini new moon on, what day are we on? Thursday. So yeah, on the 6th. And this Venus star point is at 14 degrees Gemini. And Gemini is the lead star point because for a lot of reasons. Not going to go into that. But this Venus star point is extra special because it is almost exactly conjunct the north node of Uranus at 14 degrees. Just a degree away is the north node of Venus. That's not as uncommon. So those four beings are all stationed together. Also, we've just earlier this morning had a Mercury-Jupiter conjunction. So we've got both Venus and Jupiter benefics in the sign of Gemini. Jupiter being the immutable laws of attraction, natural laws, the immutable laws, of which I think there are 12. I'm going to put a link to an article about those below, but just to quickly go through them, they are, and I'm not going to read what they're about. I decided to re-record this because I'd gone far too long. But anyway, there's the law of divine oneness, the law of vibration, the law of inspired action, the law of correspondence, the law of cause and effect, the law of compensation, the law of attraction, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, the law of relativity, the law of polarity, the law of rhythm, and the law of gender. Okay. And so those are the 12 immutable laws. Now then, the one I will make up with, that I will say though, is that masculine and feminine qualities make up all creation, but this does not necessarily mean physical genders, all right? It's energetics, okay? And that's the yin and yang of everything. So those are the 12 laws. We're also going to be working with those in the nest because this Gemini star point is on my moon and opposing my Jupiter. And I finally feel like I'm able to weave all of the things I do into my work, and that's all going to go into the nest. Yes. I've done courses on the law of attraction. And instantly I can see that all those immutable laws work with the zodiac. So, you know, this astrology is quantum. Everything is quantum. And this is us moving into the quantum realm, individually and collectively. So anyway, Gemini. We talked about Gemini. This is Gemini acid on steroids. This is the ability to create mind magic, to change your thoughts, change your life, change your perceptions, change how you do things, change how you see things, change how you create. We've got personal planets, you know, we've got the sun, Mercury, Venus are all personal planets, and the moon's about to go in to the sign of Gemini. This is just enormous. This is about rebirthing from the inside out, rebirthing how you see yourself, how you act in the world, how you relate to others, coming from that more self-loving, self-accepting place. Now then, this Venus star point is not only off the charts for that reason. It is also off the charts because exactly opposing it, conjunct the south node of Uranus, is the great attractor. And the great attractor is this big galactic anomaly. It's a mystery. It has characteristics of warping time and space, and while bending light with its massive gravity. It's not a black hole. That's all we know as well. It demonstrates radio source energy, common to a quasar, but it also shows strong retreat tendencies through its red shift. And then it also has an ultraviolet contingent outside the range of blue to violet light. It's just light bending, mind bending, perception bending, gravitational lensing energy. All right. We don't really know what it's here yet, but let's just say it could be the real kind of mind of God coming in to completely change everything here on Earth because of this thing. So think of it as gravitational lensing. Anybody that possesses great attractor contacts, which is me, has a point of objectivity. They seek to enlighten others to the fact there is another way. I actually kind of feel like I'm inventing like new astrology. I don't think I'm the only one, but I am like going, you know, we can't treat it as a rational science anymore. We just can't. Anyway, that's my point. And to do this, they can often polarize. And that number, by the way, the 14 degrees, is a number that is both a truth teller and often polarizes. So this is going to be quite polarizing, this Gemini star point, but be open-minded to changing your perspective. All right. A new narrow view or really firmly held opinions and nature does not fit with this. I kind of think some of these people that go my way or the highway are on the way out after this Gemini star point. Okay. I think they're religious wars. I think, you know, people are going to go, oh, maybe my way isn't right. Maybe this book is as valid as this book or whatever, you know, the religions, all those kind of things. This is just massive, to be quite honest. Okay. So anyway, that's the great attractor. You know, you can go and Google about that if you want to read more about it, because I'd be here forever if I want to say everything. But in a nutshell, put all of this together. Uranus, the north node of Uranus, planetary nodes. I'm still processing Mark Jones' excellent book on the planetary nodes. But planetary nodes really are like a concentrated nature of the planet itself, in a way. The ascending node, the north node, is the node that's going up above the ecliptic, you could say out towards that great attractor, where we're moving to. And incidentally, our Milky Way is moving to the great attractor, which is why it's called that. We're never going to get there, but it is slightly moving in that direction. And so this is breakthroughs, this is liberation, this is radical quantum leap shift. Quantum leap. Okay, all of us. The south node is on the great attractor, going break free with all of those ideas and beliefs. None of it is right. You've not got anything wrong. You don't understand anything. You think you do, but no, you don't. I don't think we do. You know, rational science, some of Earth-based rational proof science has been proven to be wrong by quantum mechanics. So, you know, and there's that saying that if you think you understand quantum mechanics, then you don't. And I don't know why my video is doing this. I think it's probably because I've got too many windows open, as I always do. Anyway, so there's that. One other thing that I do want to say is that Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, so this is about changing perceptions, changing beliefs, but it's got immense creative potential because of stepping into those natural laws, the immutable laws, and working with them within yourself, because Jupiter and Venus are very much associated with creation and manifestation. Okay, the law of manifestation or manifestation itself, I really associate Venus and Jupiter very strongly with that. So you can look at that in your own chart or join the nest. Now then, other things are just amazing about this Venus star point. Well, we've got Pluto here in Aquarius. Uranus is here in Taurus. And this is the Venus star point, and we've got the North Node in Aries and South Node in Libra. Now I'm going to go back 251 years to the last Venus star point that was at 14 degrees Gemini, because that's one of Venus's greatest cycles that we'll be teaching. 251 years. At that point, Pluto was still in Capricorn and about to go into Aquarius, because Pluto has 250-year cycle, 248, sorry, to be exact. So 3 years less. So it's a bit behind, okay, the Venus cycle. And Pluto is now in Aquarius, so, or a bit ahead of the Venus cycle. So that's slightly different. Also, this one did not have the star point exactly conjunct the north node of Uranus. The north node of Mercury was about at the same place, but look at Pluto. So just quickly back to today, Pluto. I mean, look at Uranus, not Pluto. Uranus today, 24 degrees. Back then, 25 degrees with Mercury conjunct. And the North Node and the South Node were reversed. The North Node was in Libra. Now, think back, 1773. What period did that launch? Well, yes, revolutions. The American Revolution, French Revolution, there was other revolutions. Some were peaceful, some were not. But also launched a renaissance of ideas and the Industrial Revolution. Okay, so all of that came out of that. But even more, oh, by the way, the great attractor was only at 10 then, now it's at 14. So it was not even exactly opposing it. But even more, in 1781, Uranus was the first planetary discovery beyond our visible planets, beyond Saturn. The first one to come into our consciousness. Since Uranus discovery, we've had Pluto, Neptune, and I'm not doing them in order, and Uranus. was 1781, as I said. And then we've got Ceres, the asteroids. But doesn't it make sense that if we didn't know Uranus existed, we would not know the North Node and the South Node of Uranus existed either, because we had no awareness of these planetary bodies working with us as we discover over time that we live in this quantum universe. And we are moving in such a quantum, this is a quantum leap. This star point is a quantum leap. So we didn't know they existed. All right. So now we are having 251 years later. We've got the star point, knowing that all these planets exist. But not only that, Uranus is now at 24 degrees. She was at 25 degrees then, now at 24, about to have another Uranus return that happens every 84 years, which is about the length of a human life, right? So how many lifetimes is that? Let me do some math. Oh my God. Oh. Is that 4? Oh no, 3. My mental math is usually good. So 3 Uranus cycles is 252 years, about the same as a Venus cycle. And Uranus was discovered at 23 degrees, 23 Taurus, back on back in 1781. You can't make this stuff up, guys. You really can't. And we recently had a this is one last thing about the because I've just thought of it. We recently had a conjunction at 23 Taurus, I think. Oh, he wasn't. Oh, it was a. Oh, that's cause. Oh, okay. So there was Uranus back at 23 Taurus, his discovery point in May. And guess what was conjunct at that time? Venus. Venus was conjunct in her own sign. Venus is, I tell you, Venus really is the key to a lot of things in our human creation, because she really does represent our humanness. Okay, she represents our senses, she represents our physical body, so many things. So there you can see Venus was conjunct Uranus at his discovery degree on May the 18th. Oh, and yet the nodes are the other way around. So we are moving to a new beginning, Aries, new beginning. The great attractor is closer to the star point. This star point is just off the charts. And then we've got Jupiter and Mercury together earlier today. Big thoughts, big ideas, big changes in perception. Just the opportunities in this abound. As I mentioned, it's at 14 degrees, the thing. 14 is a 14-5 number. 14 is a number of independence, self-initiative, unity, and justice. And it needs to create balance, harmony, temperance, and prudence. Okay. The shadow of 14 is, of course, it can be very polarizing, but so can that great attractor. It just can, the influence of 14 can have a strong negative influence on people unless they are awake and aware of conditions that come into their lives. It can be quite manipulative, 14, but let's not look at that. Let's aim to be the 14-5. Okay, 14s are the ones who start weird and wonderful. ventures. The receptive quality of the number 5, which 1 + 4 is 5, keeps them open to innovation and change, need a constant challenge. So this is what's coming. Okay, this is what we have going. All right, so one other quick thing, I think I've talked about all of that. I'm going to read the symbols, and then I pulled some cards for this momentous day. So I'm going to show you the cards and read those. So let's actually read Gemini 3 first. For the Mercury-Jupiter conjunction is an invisible man wandering in the night. That's the Omega symbol. He says this is John Sandbach, who's also interviewed on that summit I'm on, is manifesting and receptive degree. And this is a degree that has the degree angel annual, which is appreciation and perception of unity. You have a strong urge to investigate and to roam, and can be fearless and boundless in your searchings. You have a way of being non-threatening, and because of this, people will allow you into their world, where you can learn much and potentially offer assistance which they would have accepted in no other way. You can accomplish much in a quiet and unseen manner. The Chandra symbol for this is a dense thicket of brambles surrounding a magic castle. The brambles are a protection, as is the invisibility of the man in the Omega symbol. This degree is about relating, and in the process of doing so, finding ways to get through barriers of fear and misunderstanding so that you can make deeper connections. And that's first connection is with yourself, looking in the mirror. Another aspect of this degree is it may ward off connections with life and or other people and not be aware it is doing this. Ultimately, it's a way of maintaining one's freedom to be oneself, a kind of filtering device that only allows in what harmonizes with your own vibrations. This can be positive in that it protects your energy, but like all systems of protection, it can also sometimes restrict your personal growth. Now, the Gemini, the Sabian symbol, is a garden of the Tuileries. Keyword is luxury. I'm not going to read anymore. That is just one of growing your garden of abundance and love within yourself first, and then spreading it out in the world. All right, so let's go and read for the star point itself. The Sabian symbol, first of all, is 2 Dutch children talking. This is a symbol of the creative interest of humans in the broad range of potentialities on which they may draw. Their rehearsal of experience here becomes vicarious and a matter of childlike or unconditioned familiarity with the simple contributions of the self to its media at root. So basically, clarification, it says, but also it's really about the potentialities, I think. Now then, on to the Chandra symbols for this. Love them. A magician's tower looms above the surrounding landscape, and this Omega is transforming and inspired. He says this is a degree angel Sitael, miracle-making construction of universe and worlds. You're always aware of what's missing in communication, of what's being left out, implied, or avoided due to fear or bias. You are always trying to get a broader, wider perspective on communication by bringing in just the right notes and energies to open it up further and bring in the most needed energies from spirit. The Chandra symbol is people gathering salt from the ocean. Water flows to the lowest level, and salt is a mineral used for grounding. The magician's tower rises up above the surrounding land. This degree seeks, through looking high, far, and deep, that which is essential and that which connects us all at core, so that our communication may be based on an awareness of what unites us in seeking the common goal of enlightenment. It is then that the exchange of ideas clarifies, becomes harmonious and meaningful, and rises above the illusions of separation and conflict. Do you just sense, do you sense how hopeful all of this is? That we are going into this time of such potential for connection, but most of all for that connection within yourself. So do that mirror, dance in front of a mirror like we used to in clubs, and look at yourself and go, I am radiant. You are a radiant being, a divine being. Know it, see it, love yourself. The cards. I was a bit perplexed because two pentacles are earth cards and this is an air thing, but it makes sense when I looked at the cards, and I picked the Lightseers Tarot because it just felt like this day needed a lighter, more creative kind of deck. And just look at this art. Well, the Three of Pentacles we start with. This is about cooperation, community, teaching and learning, sharing and listening, and teamwork. There's no limit to what you can manifest together. And I love this image because I talk a lot about wisdom weaving. I'm a wisdom weaver, weaving everything together, weaving our stories together and weaving a new pattern and a new story. This is what we've got coming, people, and we're part of it. How lucky are we? Maybe you knit, maybe you crochet, maybe you weave, maybe you write. Whatever you do, you're creating. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. And you know, Jupiter and Mercury at 2 degrees. Gemini is 2. The twins, 2 is always a decision, a choice. So this is the Two of Pentacles, and a need to balance many aspects of the self, juggling obligations, equilibrium, seeking harmony within. Isn't that what jugglers do? They're really balanced within because they're not really thinking about the balls anymore because they're that practiced. Okay, it's all about balancing within. Look at that picture. And then I got the Eight of Cups, a number of stability, and the cups is our emotions. And this is about letting go and releasing that which no longer serves you. A ritual releasing, a time to move stuck energy and leaving your old reality to pursue a new one. I walk away from negativity and I choose myself in a rebellious act of love. Oh, need I say more? I'm going to share back as I finish and say goodbye. I'm going to say don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. Oh, it's only 9:35 here. In fact, I think it may be exact now. Oh, is it? As I finish doing this, it's exact. Yep, 14 degrees, 29. Go and dance in front of the mirror. Rebelliously love yourself. Do that rebellious act of love. And then it creates intimacy from the outside, inside out. Know that we are all one. Live by those immutable laws. Come in the nest. Let me support you to do that. Let me teach you about them to help you to do more of that. Show how it's reflected in your astrology. Learn the Venus star point and sign up for that summit as well, and be a love rocket. Oh God, I love how my mind works, honestly, guys. And I love you. Enjoy this momentous day. Bye.